Hello guys, welcome to a new play-by-play video. Today we are playing Bellona. Bellona is one of, in my mind, the top 5 solo laners that are now in Smite. Definitely very, very underrated. She got a couple of nerfs, one to her passive, reducing some of the movement speed she gains after auto-attacking. She got a bit of a nerf to her Scourge, which is her third ability, reducing a little bit of the damage it deals as well. I believe some of the healing. Obviously Blackthorn meta has kind of taken Storm and solo, Sigil also getting buffed. A lot of different options have come into the role and I think diversified it a little bit, but auto attackers, specifically Bellona, still remain extremely strong and I think extremely underrated and underplayed. And I can't wait to kind of showcase that in this game. Today we're going to be going Animosity Axe, Frostbound Berserkers, Kin-sized Shoguns, and then our last item is a flex item. Could be a breastplate, could be a binding. We'll figure it out. But for this lane, I don't know who exactly we're laning against. It could be an Odin, could be a Kukulkan. Either way, our matchups are really good. So you don't really need to worry too much. And this Alice, I guess, watches our videos. Really cool. I want to say thank you guys for all of the support. And I'll continue to be posting and all that stuff. And it's just been really, really fun. It's been incredible seeing this channel kind of take off. Got some videos for Smite 2 to be posting this weekend and whatnot. And then I'll go right back to Smite 1. And again, I really do appreciate it. So, I've tried to record a Bellona video for a lot, but I've had a lot of dodges and stuff, so I'm really hoping that this one actually turns out well. I'm going in completely with no warm-up, no nothing, so might be a little sketchy these first few waves, but we should feel fine. Again, we have so much pressure. One thing we're going to know who we're against is who hits level 2 last on their team. It's always the solo laners who hit level 2 fast, level 2 last, excuse me. Just because of the clear speed, and we see Kukulkan is still not level 2, that means that's who we are laning against. So, what we expected, but it's just a really good way to find out. It's probably an RDO support and then a Odin jungle, so good stuff to know. We hit level 2 first. This guy's already in a rage form because of his start. I'm just going to wait for him to show up here, disarm him, that's fine. Again, he's in a rage form, so he's going to be somewhat strong, but we still will find that we can kind of fight him. I just got my 2 on him to help group the wave a little bit, and he's going to clear somewhat fast. Again, rage form is really strong, but we're actually going to be able to manage this pretty okay. And we can kind of fight him a little bit here. He's out of rage form now. We'll just kind of hit him, get our 3 off, get a bit more damage back up, and that was a pretty decent trade for us. You know, definitely feeling okay about that. We can kind of just take our 2, go hit this totem out a little bit. I tried to get him with the 2 there, but we're out of range. Get the totem now. We're going to hit level 3, similar to when he does. We're going to have to back up a bit, but we got the totem. We got a health lead right now just from these trades. Our auto attacks are so strong. And we're typically just able to out-trade people. Once we have Frostbound, once we have Kin-Size, we're the 1v1 demon. This character is incredible at taking bad fights, or fights that look like they're bad, just because our auto attack trading is so strong and our pressure is insane. The best picks I'd recommend into Bellona are like Chalk, just because the auto attack speed's slow, but generally speaking, it is just difficult. We're going to auto him, 3 him here, get our 2 off, and he might just be dead. And there we go. Just kind of auto him down, run at him. He missed his 1. He didn't have a lot of rage right there, so obviously wasn't going to transform. And we can literally just auto there and walk at him. We're going to do this camp first because it gives a little bit more XP. So obviously if that goes down and we have to trade out with the silver camp, we're going to feel a little bit better in that regard. I'm going to push this wave here. It's a little bit sketchy, but we're seeing our Anubis calling be careful right, meaning that the jungler is on that side of the map, and he's got a big wave now he has to deal with. We'll be able to get this meteor easily, and then go do totem with this meteor sustain and all that. And if he wants to fight me here, it's going to be a really big issue, and he is hard, stubborn pushing this. This is just a terrible play. He dashes us, and he is just dead. We wait, auto him, 3 him, and he is just gone. Super simple. Again, you can't ever make a play like that. Odin's here. He wants some more of the fight. We have ult here, so we're just going to up down when he jumps us, and we're totally okay. If he jumps us, he's not jumping us. Alright, no worries. I can bait this guy a little bit. I got my axe proc soon. And that's one more. We're going to reset right now. We go get Frostbound and go reset. And yeah, I mean, listen, we are off to the absolute races. We have a little bit of sustain. One thing with the Scepter, that's what it's called, excuse me, is the Scepter gives us a little bit of HP 5, 10 additional HP 5, I believe. So, you know, we're healing a little bit more with that. We have our Scourge, obviously. We have a little bit of sustain in our Warrior's Axe, and we're able to just kind of keep track of our health bar there ult when we need to. I was able to kind of jump that ult, you know, and when I say jump that ult, I mean just use it early because we had our Anubis coming, so there's not under any really pressure or risk, and yeah, I mean, we are just building a massive lead so far in this early game just by trading. Again, a lot of what makes these auto attackers and just improving in this role is just keeping your composure. We know we're going to have a good fight as long as we fight into him and we don't break. If we're trading with him and it looks a little bit scary, we're noticing that we're doing more damage than he's doing, or even if he's doing a little bit more damage for the time being, we have minions coming, stuff like that, and we just kind of maintain steadfast. And as long as you're doing that, you'll typically win a lot of lanes. Right now, this guy's backing. I don't think he's got TP. He definitely shouldn't. So we're just going to freeze here, go do silver, go do the other thing, the Naga, that's what it's called, and just hold. You know, there's really no reason for us to push this wave. I've got the Frostman now. Our fight is incredible against him. We're up 1,000 gold, so we can just kind of hold and chill out. And we're maxing our Scourge, by the way. Again, so much action has happened in this lane. Normally I can slow it down a little bit. But we typically max our Scourge on this character because it's the best secure that we have. And what I mean by that is it's instant, right? So if I have my Bludgeon and I max that first, I have a whole wind-up to deal with and all that stuff. And that's typically just kind of inconsistent. Can't always secure camps that easily with that. And yes, your damage potential is high, especially into a character that can't evade or can't interrupt you super consistently, but it's still just not as good typically. We're going to ult him here, and he is just dead. I wanted to see if I didn't need to ult, but we did, and that's fine. I'm actually going to kill this minion in a second, and we're going to go back right to freezing. He shouldn't have TP. Actually, no, I can push this wave. He shouldn't have TP, and he's going to be dead for a little bit. If he does, unlucky. I just made a misplay. But we push this wave. We're actually going to just reset here, because he was dead for a little. I should have cleared it right away. I kind of hesitated a little bit. Still should be okay. We get a Chalice here, tier 2 Berserkers, and we are in a commanding spot. You know, again, one thing that people sometimes ask me is they say, hey, if I'm in an instance where their blue buff is probably coming up and I might be able to get a contest, should I push the wave, go for their blue, or should I just freeze? And it really just kind of depends on like the situation of the game. If you think the jungler is going to rotate, how ahead or behind you are, those kinds of things. I mean, look, what I'll always say is that if you're freezing and you're not pushing and he just goes to get his blue for sure, you're getting a guaranteed win in a couple of minions. If you push and get the blue invade off, you know, obviously the payout can be a lot higher, but it's a lot riskier. So you just kind of look at the game, see how good your secure is, see how good his secure is. Think about, is a jungler rotation, if it happens, going to kill me? And if the answer is no, and like you can realistically probably get the blue buff, you know, go for it. But if not, it's never bad to build a slow lead safely without dying. You know, I really try to preach in the way I play and just how I've always played competitively in the last couple of seasons when I really improved going from like an SOC level to a high-end minor league player. Just take your wins and you know, take them with some patience and grace. The last team I played on, you know, in the SEC was the Athenian Sages, and that was season 10, obviously, the last time there was competitive, and we were a really great team, especially in the first phase when we had all of our people. We had some roster changes because people got jobs and stuff, but beforehand, we were a really good team, and what we were is we were definitely the most patient team. We played a very European kind of style where it was just 7-7 would be our games, you know, 40 minutes in. And it was all just about farming, building little advantages, and we kind of group that philosophy together as a roster. And if you take that into ranked, then you just get the idea of, hey, listen, I'll fight when I have an opportunity to, and he kind of broke my freeze, so I just have to push it, unfortunately. But if you just take that opportunity of saying, hey, I'm going to fight when I need to, and when I don't, I'm just going to farm, you're not only going to do well in competitive, but you're going to do well in ranked. And that's not, again, that's not that we're not fighting for no reason, or excuse me, that's not that we're not fighting if we have an opportunity, but we're not going to just sit there and like fight for no reason when it's no good. I think the biggest way to improve is like beginning to understand that, prioritizing your farm and not taking bad fights as an individual solo laner, but just also as a player and as a team. One thing you'll notice is when you look at SOC, and even before that, you look at like draft leagues, you look at gold games, diamond games, plat games, all that stuff, and then you go to draft leagues where you have masters players, then you go to SOC, then you go to SCC, and then you go to SPL. Player damage and kills will consistently begin to lessen the further higher up you go. And that is all just because, again, you have that idea of like, we're just not going to be fighting for no reason. So it's really important. I do try to highlight that. I know that was a bit of a tangent, but I hope that was somewhat insightful. Right now, we're going to just go do these bastions again. There's not really a lot to this lane because of how ahead we are and the pressure we get. And this is the thing about Bellona. She still does this. I think, like I mentioned, you know, some other items got a little bit better, and people thought with Bellona getting some slight nerfs, despite her being the best character in the role at that time, most likely, that, hey, you know, maybe she's just not that great. I think there was a big fatigue to the character, but for better or worse, Bellona is still definitely a top solo lane pick. We're getting ganked here a little bit. We should be totally fine. I'm going to hold my ult for a little bit, make sure we keep our passive up because that's protections. And if I need to, I will ult. But we don't get caged, we're fine. Again, if he cages us, we just ult. I don't want to ult earlier than that. I want to keep autoing because, again, when I have those 5 little ticks, I guess they're like little pikes or spears. You see 1 right there, 2, 3, 4, 5. We gain protections and movement speed. So as long as we can maintain that, we're generally okay. And that's why you'll see Bellona is like up, down, and just sit there and auto-attacking 2, 3 people. And sometimes they have the opportunity to actually win the fight because their passive gives you protections and movement speed. Your ultimate flag gives you protections and power, and obviously the stun. So she's a really great character at just like up-downing and just like taking bad fights. And in the same sense, and I say bad fights again, like not directly, because they're not bad fights if you're winning them and they're going well. I mean bad fights in the sense of they look like bad fights. So, yeah, you know, it's really important to keep that up when you're backpedaling out, when you're going in and all that stuff. You can keep your passive up, you're going to be super, super potent and effective. We're just going to clear this wave here, and we have enough actually for our next item. Which would normally be Berserker's Shield. I'm in an instance right now where I am glued to this lane because I'm getting such big of an advantage, so I'm actually just going to go kin size. Again, this is very circumstantial. Normally, I would just finish Berserkers, go tier 2 kins here, but I have a huge lead. This Kukulon cannot get away from me. And if I just continue to fight over here, I'm going to draw more and more aggro. This Odin's going to be more and more tethered to come over here, or else he's going to lose his entire jungle, and also the Nox as well. And as long as I can just play kind of cat and mouse with them, run in and out of those aggro ranges and kind of avoid a huge rotation, but maybe just force the Odin over, I'm winning those 2v1s. So this power and this attack speed I'm getting from Kins is actually just going to further my push and my lead because I don't need the defensive capabilities right this second. It's sort of like, you know, again, if you're ahead and you build damage, you can clear faster, do all your things faster, and as a result, build a bigger lead, and defense is almost a momentum stopper in a sense. Again, that doesn't mean you shouldn't go defense on solo laners. Of course you do, but in this instance, I can go Kins first. Because I'm going to go for a rotation here. Hopefully we can do something. Got the Frostbound slow, got the ult. Get a bit of a 2-off here, and we get 2 kills. Again, does damage and attack speed help facilitate that? Absolutely. And that's why you can go with sometimes. There's a bit of a rotation back. Honestly, didn't even see that guy. I'll try to help him here. We Frostbound slowed, attack speed slowed him. We can still fight this for sure. I'm just going to ping this Cuckoo. I want him to just stick to it. We get our 2 off here. That's 1 more. I've got a, what is it called? A disarm for this guy if he walks in. Did get that jump off. And I'm just going to leave. So that's okay. I'm going to go for his backs right now. This guy's calling to do that. I'm not sure I actually can super seamlessly. It's probably not a great idea too. It's going to be a lot better for us just to do backs and go get blue. And this way, obviously, Colin's still dead, so we're able to do this really, really easily. Clear this out and reset. And man, guys, I have to say, I've tried to record a Bellona video for days, and I've been winning games and stuff and doing well, like from a stat perspective, but I haven't been super happy with my individual play. Like, again, I'm winning and I'm doing well, like top damage, all that crap. I don't know. It's kind of weird. Like with the videos doing well, I want to make sure I have good videos out. And again, not every game is going to be perfect and all that stuff. Totally understand that. But I'm just making like uncharacteristically bad mistakes in some of those games. And it's really frustrating me from a personal level. I'm sure like if I posted them, it wouldn't be a big deal. Because even that Reddit game I posted, I was so frustrated with how I played in it at certain moments. But that one was more so the commentary. But people gave me great feedback, and I really appreciate you guys for that. Because you know the biggest thing is I just want to make good content. So I'm really glad people are enjoying it. You know, I definitely want to go over and do some like other stuff on YouTube, maybe other game stuff, but I really like love writing. I'd love to do horror story stuff, whether that's narrations, writing my own, and you know, recording them, whatever the case might be. It just sounds really fun, and I probably wouldn't do that on this channel now because it's like it's pretty established as a Smite channel, but that was what I was initially planning on doing. So if you're interested in that, please let me know. And again, that's kind of like in the future, but for now, obviously, I'm still doing my Smite stuff, and I'll continue to, regardless of if I begin doing that. So yeah, anyways, we're getting a bunch of damage here. We have a 5-level lead, 5-0 over here, and we can force some damage on him. We see that Odin on that right jungle. I probably can just kill him here. We ult the ult, and we are golden. Again, I never look for that play unless I know where the Odin is, because I am worth so much. It is, our wave is bugging out over there. It's like protect the president a little bit. You know, we're super fed, but we're also worth 1 billion gold right now. So you really don't want to give that up. In this game, we're up 6K, but I'm over 3,000 of it. So let's do math. Yeah, we are over 3,000 of it. So it's looking stompy, but a lot of this lead is on us. You know, 3,000 lead distributed through the rest of the team. Is that impactful? Absolutely. But is some of that facilitated because of us? Yes, right? So this game is still fairly close. When you remove us from the equation, now we're going to destroy this lobby and hopefully win this pretty handedly. But you get the idea, right? Like, if I die, it'd be really, really not good, especially if I'm diving a level 12 Kukulkan. So, again, we only take that trade when we're absolutely positive we're not going to have a rotation come over. Like, this blue buff, in some sense, there's a little bit of risk incurred, but I have such a good lead. I do have beads. You always want to go beads second on this character just about, because we have Kin Size, we have Shogun soon, we have Animosity X. Just anything that interrupts our auto attacks, which will just be CC, is going to be pretty problematic, and if we can continue to auto, we're going to do so much damage. So you'll see sometimes people go horrific. By the way, in this area, we don't take tower aggro. Now we do. So that little corner, you are safe. I don't think he knew that, and he is actually just going to die again. Again, this is a super oppressive character, and does not feel fun to play into. We were holding our Scourge there just in case he ended up having a jump or something, and we just follow with that instead of using our ultimate, because I obviously don't want to ult in at that point. But yeah, so that little area you can pull your camps into as a solo laner. So that's your blue buff, stuff like that. If you're on the defensive end or on the aggressive end, you can pull it there. Towers won't aggro, you won't lose gold, obviously won't get hit. We're going to TP over here, really great situation. There's a fight going on. Looks like it's getting lost and it might not have anything, but it's still worth a shot to try to make something happen. I am here again. If we can get something going, great. If not, is what it is. But I do want to at least try. We get the disarm off on this guy. This guy also dashed on me. I can't recommend that. Pop our beats here. I honestly didn't need to. I just want to do this aggressively. They're getting the pick in mid, so either way this is good. Ultimate on us. Great pull by this guy. Keep autoing him down. Get the 3 off. He's dead. I'm going to call for a retreat. He should be fine. There's going to be a little bit of damage on him, but you see the Nox low on mana, and he should be okay. We're going to restart right now. Go get Shoguns. Go get some words here. And our next item is kind of a flex item. So I mentioned Breastplate, Pridwin, Binding, Spirit Robe, Mantle. Really what you're looking for here is you're looking at the damage dealers on their team, and you're kind of identifying to yourself what will be the biggest threat, what's the biggest risk. And one other thing that you're also identifying is you're factoring in that Bellona is a character that has no cooldown with this build at the moment. Well, we can definitely get a blue mask or a purple mask, but you'll typically see people go purple masks, which is fine. So we're at 0% cooldown or maybe 10% cooldown. Well, a couple of patches ago, Bellona was still a great character when this happened, but a couple of patches ago, they nerfed Bellona's ultimate cooldown to make it 90 seconds as opposed to 75 scaling down, or scaling down to 75, excuse me. And that obviously is a big shift, because not having your ultimate, and we are just going to absolutely cook through this guy, is a big problem. You absolutely want to have your ult. It's essential to playing the game. And it's a great tool to engage, especially when you have, like, looking at their comp, they have triple tank and very high compacted CC with an Odin jungle, an RDO support, a Nox mid, right? Our ultimate's a big tool to not only get into the fight, but also it gives us a lot of safety. You want to ideally have that up. So typically, going a Breastplate or going a Pridwin for 20% cooldown, the highest you can get from one of those defense items, is a really good idea. And that's what you'll see a lot. This guy's also just dead really quick. Frostbound is such good setup, on top of obviously our own damage and Anubis' damage. He kind of body blocked us a little bit, but we will kill him eventually. It is no big deal. But yeah, so, like, you really want to have some cooldown, generally speaking, and this is your last item slot. This is where you would be going at. So yeah, again, Breastplate is cool, Pridwin is cool. You just have to look at the damage that you would be taking. So this game I see, like, hey, this Odin jungle could be playing backline a little bit. Maybe I want a Breastplate. But if I go Pridwin, hey, I can cover myself against the Nox a little bit more. And maybe if I get Nox comboed, I'm just going to die late game. Those are things you could put into contest and could approach and say, like, hey, this is the approach I want to take, and give it with it. Conversely, I might look at their comp and say, hey, I'm going to forego a little bit of cooldown because I want to go a bit more safety, and I'll go Spear Rope to get shared protections and CCR and like protection when I get CC'd because they have a Nox, because they have an RDO, because they have a Odin, right? So a lot of stuns, a lot of silences, all that miserable stuff. I'm a tank, I do have beads, but when I don't have beads, and even though I have beads, you know, that is concerning, right? And that's absolutely a fair case, and going Spear Rope here would not be a bad play at all. So Spirit Robe could be fine. You could also say, hey, I want to go a little bit more protection heavy and say, screw the cooldown. I want to go Stone of Binding because I want to also do more damage, and that would also be fine. So you have a bunch of issues is the point I'm getting to. I know I'm blabbering here. We're going to pre-beats this so he can't get stunned, and he is just dead. And we can go over left. So yeah, that's the point. You have a billion options to go. You can choose whatever you want, and as long as you're making informed decisions, right? The main goal with this build is like we have a bunch of defense with our auto attacks and stuff, and our ultimate. We have good damage with Frostbound Kins. We have Animosity Axe as well, and we're just a very, very strong character. Um, so as long as you're kind of getting that for you, you're never really going to be in too bad of a spot. I think we made the guy rage quit, which is unfortunate. But hey, sometimes you got to show a dominant game. I don't mind posting a game like this because even though it is kind of one-sided, like we have kind of like dropped a super nuke, and I think we like helped curate and create a lot of the pressure for this game. And it's good to show like kind of how to just win a lane super strong. So again, going back to the lane, what did we do? We focused on clearing. We took the fights on him when we could because we have better auto attacks, good pressure, and we shut down what people really have a lot of trouble playing into Good Cullen. And you'll find that you can do this into just about every character on Bellona. Aside from like Osiris and Chalk, but Osiris' skill matchup, Chalk, you know, can actually kind of win, and that's why I do recommend Chalk, because Chalk is really good into everything and can actually do quite well into Bellona. But yeah, we just focused on clearing. We took advantage of the fact that even though we don't have the best secure on this character, we're able to like outfight people, so we can make sure they don't actually get ever over to the camps. So then we don't have to worry about it. And you know, as a result, like we're just kind of splitting the lobby in half, and it's a good time, right? I mean, there's not much else to say about it. It's just a good time. We're gonna reset right now. Got 5,000 gold. I can upgrade TP, and we can probably reset, come back, and it should be a game. Go get Animosity Axe. We're gonna go get a breastplate here. Because the reason I'm going breastplate here is I can get this glyph, get some more shared prots that way, and I'm also really not that worried about this Nox damage. You know, they have more physical damage, and if the Nox hits me, I tend to think they're just going to lose the game. And, you know, at this point, they probably will lose no matter what they go, and everything's going to feel fine. But, typically I'll go Binding or Spear if the magical damage I'm facing is, like, a little bit more long-standing. Again, I don't think Spear is bad here because they have a lot of CC, but if I wanted to like really go like a more committed magical defense item, be a Pridwin, be a Binding, whatever it might be, that's typically when they have things like a Merlin, because that kind of damage um, is super problematic, right? Because that's shred damage, that's burst damage, that's like a burn, you know what I mean? And Nox is not that, quite frankly. So yeah, it's less pressing, but again, Spear would have been fine there. I know this is probably the most one-sided game I'm posting, but I think in terms of impact, we had it very high. Silver teammates? I can't help it, dude. It's Grandmasters. I don't know. But listen, it was domination to happen. Um, I think that was like a, you know, exaggeration, but 3 people worth reporting, so doesn't seem like there was a lot of kindness going on. But yeah, so looking at our player damage and all that stuff, we did 31k in 21 minutes. That's pretty good. One ward, didn't need much more than that. The mitigated was good. Fantastic gold per minute, and that's really the biggest thing I want to stress. You know, you just focus on that farming. You clear your neutrals once you have that lane pressure, that lane advantage, because you don't have great secure on this character. So when you don't have great secure, it's obviously going to be a big issue. Um, and yeah, you just kind of avoid that um, issue by just out clearing, poking the person out. You can go over to that silver, go over to that naga, secure it really easily now that nobody's contesting you, and then you just kind of go back to lane over, rinse, repeat over and over, build a huge lead, and then, I mean, the game is kind of just handed to you. So we'll keep hitting the cues, but thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. I will see you guys sometime soon. Peace.